So today I wanted to talk to you about Azure misconfigurations. And in particular, I wanted to talk to you about Capture the Flag CTF that I recently finished on Azure misconfigurations that gave access to sensitive data that was stored in Key Vault. Um, Misconfigurations are real. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to walk all of you through the the CTF walkthrough. So I've written a blog about it. I've written step by steps. How did I solve that CTF? And I was contemplating, should I be walking you through my write-up or should I rather do it all over again so that you can actually see that in action? I took a lazy route and I thought I'll rather just walk you through what I've already written. I had no interest of doing the entire CTF again because I've solved it once and I've written a blog post about it with the intention that if you ever had to repeat, or if I ever have to repeat, I can just refer the blog post rather than doing all the steps again. So without further ado, let me actually quickly walk you on this specific CDF and let's zoom in a little. So this is basically a scenario in which we have a user and we get that compromised user credentials. We start enumerating, start getting more information about that user, ultimately exposing some sensitive credit card information, like really sensitive data. So let's quickly take a look at the scenario. The scenario that we have over here is we have this user Marcus. Marcus works for a company called as Mega Big Tech. So this is a company, Mega Big Tech. Marcus is an employee in Mega Big Tech, and we were able to get credentials of Marcus. Now, this is quite a real scenario because Marcus could be a developer. Marcus credentials could be phished via email, could have been phished via collaboration tools like Teams, could have also been phished via social engineering and like vishing, etc. Or could have also been that if he's a developer, he has just uploaded his credentials on GitHub. That's quite a real scenario. Or his tokens on GitHub, and we were able to get his access tokens or his credentials from GitHub. Could also be a victim of password spraying or password reuse, etc. So multiple scenarios. But the goal over here is to now use the credentials that have been compromised of Marcus and start enumerating, start going deeper into mega big tech environments, cloud environment in Azure. Having said that, MFA, multi-factor authentication, is a very good thing. You should definitely have that enabled. That's one of the good outcome. And I think Microsoft is now defaulting MFA in Azure very soon, which is a very good step forward. There are ways of social engineering and adversary in the middle, which is AITM kind of attacks that can bypass MFA. But it also depends on how good your MFA policies are, and we can have a separate session or a separate discussion around it. So let's stick to the main topic over here, solving this specific lab, which is part of, just to also let you know, if you want to try it out, it is part of the Pwned Labs, right? Excellent site with a lot of CTFs on cloud, GCP, Azure, AWS. Do check it out. So over here, I have this user Mega Big Tech. So the first thing that you should always do is start using the credentials in order to log into Microsoft Azure. Now you can use PowerShell, CLI, or uh, the UI. I preferred using the UI for this environment. So I log in to Marcus account. As you can see over here, I was able to get entry inside Marcus account. So this is Marcus account. And as soon as I log in to Marcus account, let me just zoom. You can see I have a key vault over here. That is interesting. So Marcus has access to key vault. Key vault are basically a vault, a safe, wherein you can store your credentials, your sensitive information, your secrets, and you can have your application via API call these secrets. So instead of hard coding it in your application, you can call these credentials safely stored in Key Vault back into the application. Really good. way of not exposing your credentials, right? And getting into a state like Marcus, our dear Marcus, whose credentials has been exposed. So Key Vault. So he has access to Key Vault. So what do? We enumerate, we start clicking around. Like that's what we as cybersecurity practitioners, security assessors, or ethical hackers, red teamers of incident security practitioners, etc., like different roles. But the key goal over here is to keep drilling in order to understand where the misconfigurations are and to help the customers, the partners, or our own organizations build a formidable, well configured policies, have a good detection and response solution, and so on and so forth. So it looks like he has this ext contractor. So from the name of it, sometimes the name can give you a lot of detail. So here it looks like this is external contractors, possibly, but regardless, we start clicking into it just to see if we have access to it. And we do. So when we click on this key vault, we see three secrets over here, basically three names over here, Alyssa, Josh, and Ryan. And what we do is we again click. Just as a side note, curiosity is the biggest weapon of security practitioners. You should always be curious, like click and see what's happening. Click and see, are we defying the business logic flows? Click and see, is this thing working as expected? Click and see, is this a feature which can now be exploited as a weapon? So always click and see, because then you'll explore a lot of wonderful things which could give you access to your objectives. And then once you know, okay, this is one of the attack path, you can then help your customer, your partners, or your own organization secure it. So in this case, we see three entries over here. We start enumerating each one of them. So now in my case, I was lucky enough to just click on Josh Harvey, and I'll tell you why. But you'll have to click on each one of them to understand what credentials do they have. So in this case, when I click on Josh Harvey, one of the user, we are able to find their secrets. So this is the secret of Josh Harvey. So which is interesting. Now we have another user. We had Marcus. Think about it. We have Marcus. We start exploring all the information that Marcus has access to. And from Marcus' account, we were able to find a key vault of Josh Harvey, another user, and his credentials. So you see the chain. Now with this chain, we have Josh Harvey. What do? We log in using Josh Harvey. So that's what we do, right? We start exploring, we start seeing what additional information is leaking, what additional information is available. So then we log into Azure portal using Josh Harvey. So the snapshot is not very clear over here. Pardon, please beg your pardon for that. My apologies. Maybe I should have put a better snapshot. Uh, Maybe next time. So over here, when I go into Josh Harvey, I can see, okay, uh, Josh Harvey is one of the users. So before I even log in, I mean, Josh Harvey is one of the consultant, because I need to have his email ID, right? I completely forgot about it. In order to log in, of course, you need to have his credentials, right? The authentication credentials. Password is one, the secret is one, but I don't know if the secret is going to work or not. But I also need his user ID. So I start exploring, and in this case, I go to Entra ID, which is part of Azure uh, Identity IAM, Identity Access Management. I go onto over there. I see the list of users, and I'm able to find Josh Harvey. Now, I can also see his user principal name or his UPN. This is his ID. So I capture his ID over here, EXT Josh Harvey. Now that I know the ID and then have the credentials, I want to try it out. So I go on to portal.azure.com, enter the ID, ext Josh Harvey, the ID that we found out, enter the credentials from the secret that we found out, and I'm able to get access. Wonderful. So now I have access. I've moved from one tenant or one user to another one, right? And then we start exploring further. So we're like, okay, this Josh Harvey seems to have access to few things, including storage accounts. Now, storage account in Azure are a place where you can store your files. your tables, NoSQL database tables. You can even have them connected via SMB to your NAS services, etc. So what do? We explore further. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting because now Josh, the user that we are trying to look into, has access to storage accounts. I want to now explore what information do I have in these storage accounts just to see what is being leaked, because sometime really sensitive information could be leaking, which we do not want, right? So we start going into the storage account of Josh, and something interesting. So we have blob, file shares, and table and queues. I see some entry over here. I can see some tables over here. I can see about 9.65 MB of data. That is interesting. So now it seems out of all the types of storage accounts or storage, Josh seems to be using a table. So this spiked my curiosity. What table is this? What kind of data will that table be hosting? Do I have access to look at the rows or the information in that table? So I click over here. And when I click, what I see an entire gamut of information, some really sensitive credit card customer information leaking from Josh's account, which had credentials stored in Marcus, um, or one of the key vaults that Marcus had access to. And Marcus' account was compromised. Now, this could be a customer of Mega Big Tech, the company that Marcus and Josh work for. Josh as a contractor, Marcus as an employee. The end goal over here was to actually get the flag as part of the CTF, capture the flag. You have to capture the flag, and the flag is over here. I've deliberately hidden it so that I want you to go and solve this for yourself. But if you're trying to go through these steps with me in order to understand how did this entire attack chain happen, or one of the potential attack path, then you don't really have to worry about flag because that's more conceptual that I'm walking you through. One of the attack paths. So if you see over here, these scenarios are real. We feel that we have adequately protected the data, but that's not true at times. As we could see very clearly over here, how a chain of events led us to look inside and compromise Marcus' account, look inside, enumerate, and after enumeration, find something, start enumerating what we now newly found. And we were able to find some really sensitive credit card information. Now, this could be a big PII information leakage that immediately needs to be protected. So, very good lab. I hope you learned something out of it. Either way, if you're going to solve the CTF, good. If you got stuck solving this CTF, now you know how to solve it and you can go try it again. And if you were here just to understand using as Azure Key Vault, what does it hold? What are storage containers at a high level? What kind of information can they be holding? And how do threat actors or red teamers or penetration testers or security practitioners usually check out the security of the sites or the applications or the network, etc. So I hope you liked it. With this, let me just stop the sharing. I um, I believe uh, I personally think you should actually go back and try this CTF. But either case, when you hear about a new breach or a compromise, and if this is one of the path, you will be able to understand it better because now you've seen how this thing really takes place. Now, at this stage, I bid you goodbye. I'll come back again with another video to show you more about CTFs or some share about some interesting insights with my co-host Walaba. But for now, take care.